Hello, everyone. My name is Annabelle Bangs. I'm from the Center for Civic Engagement, and I'm here with New York 19th Congressional District candidate, Josh Riley. First off, thank you so much for being here with us today and for being able to talk with us. Um, and I'll just get
Hey,
right into the
yeah,
questions.
I'm really happy to do it. Really appreciate you doing this and all the work you're doing on campus.
Thank you. So, just getting right into the questions. So, why are you running for a seat in the House of Representatives? And if you're elected, what are your top priorities for the district?
Yeah, well, I'll start with that second part first because it kind of leads into the first. We're facing right now, both as a country and across upstate New York, we're facing huge challenges, both with respect to matters of justice and our democracy and basic human rights. We're also facing across this country, in particular in this district, economic challenges. And so I'm really focused on addressing both of those challenges, and it leads into some of my top priorities. We just saw in the Supreme Court over the last few months some really horrific decisions, including the Dobbs decision, which rips away women's rights. It turns the clock back on women's equality. I believe very strongly that abortion is healthcare, and women's healthcare decisions are women's healthcare decisions. They're not politicians' decisions. They're not the government's decisions to make. They belong to women and women alone. And so, one of the first things I'm going to do when I'm elected is sponsor the Women's Health Protection Act. This is a bill that would codify Roe v. Wade's protections into federal law. On that, one of the other things I've been already working on, and I'm going to continue to work on after getting elected, is I've been engaged with the Justice Department to make sure that even after the Dobbs decision, women still have access to FDA-approved abortion medications. Those are used in about half of abortions today through the first 10 to 12 weeks. And so I'm working really hard to preserve access to that and restore and strengthen our democracy and constitutional rights that maybe for a long time we've taken for granted and really shouldn't. And then the other piece of this, and we can talk about it more, is just creating job opportunities and economic opportunities across this district so that folks who are graduating from Binghamton University, folks who are graduating from our public high schools like I did, have really great job opportunities in the community where you can go and work and have good jobs, good wages, good benefits, a clear path to the middle class. We have had for generations a lot of those opportunities across upstate New York, and as my generation was coming up over the last couple of decades, we lost a lot of that. And I actually think there's a huge amount of hope and promise and potential for us to start bringing back some really high-tech manufacturing work.
Thank you. So I guess just moving into a little bit some of the more issue-based questions. You already touched on economics. We're going to touch on it again. But first off, New York 19 is a district that encompasses like 9 different counties, all with diverse needs. It's not the entire county, but all of its various areas of New York. How do you feel that you can help this district the best?
Yeah, well, so this is it's a huge district. I think this map that you see above me is the district. It's 11 counties, 5 media markets. Somebody told me the other day, and I think this is right. It's actually bigger than the entire state of Connecticut. And the question about how I can best serve the district is actually something that I think is often overlooked in our politics, which it really comes down to constituent services. There's a whole bunch of legislative priorities and policy priorities that I have and that we can talk about. But at the end of the day, the single most important thing I'll be able to do, and the single most important thing we can do out of our office, is make sure there's an open door for constituents who need a hand, whether it's through something like, earlier today, I was just over in Cortland meeting with the mayor and talking about some of the really important infrastructure investments that are happening in that community, making sure folks who are having challenges getting access to the benefits they need, making sure that small businesses who need help with small business loans have access to that sort of assistance. That is going to be my top number one priority above all else in this office. And doing it across a district that's this big, we need to make sure we're placing our offices strategically throughout the district so that there's access. We're going to do the most cutting edge mobile office hours possible to make sure we're meeting people where they are. And the one thing everybody should expect of their representative is that they're going to be there and have a team there to help them with the problems they're facing.
Great, thank you. And you talked about helping small businesses out. You talked about, economic plans. So specifically in regards to, this being such a large district, what are your plans to aid this district economically as a congressman? Again, you've already touched upon it a little bit, but can you just expand on it a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll give you. There's so many examples of projects that we are right on the cusp of having take off and be successful across the entire district. One of them that's local, that is really has the potential to transform and revitalize the local economy is something that's actually coming out of Binghamton University right now. Um, Binghamton University won Nobel Prizes for the latest cutting edge advances in lithium ion battery technologies to save the sun when it's not shining, to save the wind when it's not blowing. These are the things the world needs to address climate change. I have a 2-year-old son, and I think, not a day goes by that I don't think about whether we're going to leave him with a functioning democracy to grow up in and a planet to grow up on. And so we need to start making those technologies here, and we can do it here. So I'm really excited about the investments that are being made in Endicott, which is where I was born and raised, to take those technologies out of the lab at Binghamton University and put them on the factory floor in Endicott. And really, it's going to build an entire supply chain and ecosystem across all of upstate New York. There's tons of opportunities like that across this district, including things around, for example, semiconductor manufacturing. One of the issues we're having right now with high and rising costs is we shipped all of our semiconductor manufacturing work overseas. And so now we see these bottlenecks at the ports. It shouldn't be that way. We should be making stuff here in America. We should be making stuff here in the United States. And so there's endless potential. We just have to be better than our politics, which right now are so dysfunctional and so divided. And what we've got to start doing is reaching across the aisle, finding common ground, treating each other with decency, giving each other the benefit of the doubt, and seeing these big challenges as huge opportunities economically.
Thank you. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I really like everything you just said, but just shifting gears a little bit, do you feel that redistricting has had an impact on your campaign this year? Like, I know that there weren't like fully drawn maps for a while. So did that have an impact on your campaign strategy at all?
Yeah, it really didn't, in the sense that I'm a first-time candidate. I don't actually see myself as a politician. I'm running against somebody who's been a politician for 30 years, has been doing this for a long time. And I'm running for office for the first time because I think we need new voices. I think we need new leadership. I think we need new vision and fresh ideas, which is why I'm doing it. And one of the things I committed to doing when I launched this campaign was just speak from the heart. People would rather you tell them your views on something and disagree with it than have you do what politicians do, which is, try to use talking points and appease everybody. So for me, in a year where the district lines changed a number of times, I've been saying the same thing from the very beginning that I'm saying now, which is, this campaign is about jobs and justice. It's about creating high-tech manufacturing jobs, good economic opportunities to give people a shot to get into the middle class. It's all about protecting our democracy and protecting freedom and justice and liberty, which has come under attack. So, regardless of the district, my principles don't change, even if the district lines do. One thing that I do think is interesting and worth noting in the conversation around redistricting is this district that I'm running in right now is, a lot of analysts are saying that it is the single most competitive district in the entire country. And I actually think that is a great thing, because we should have districts that are as competitive as possible all across the country, because what that does is it incentivizes people to try to find common ground and to try to reach across the aisle. And we need more of that in our politics instead of what we often have today, which are districts that are really, really red or really, really blue. And it incentivizes the extremism and the division that's really tearing apart our democracy. So I'm actually thrilled to be running in a very competitive seat.
Great, thank you. Now, moving into our last question also, you mentioned before how like, you want to create new jobs, you want to create like a more economically stable environment, especially for students like Binghamton University students, other students across New York that are graduating, and then possibly going to graduate school and law school after that. Is there anything else that you would like to share to help students decide who deserves their vote?
Yeah, look, I mean, the main issue I've been hearing about. So I was actually on campus at Binghamton University about 2 weeks ago. Spent a couple hours talking with students. Um, I've been on campus at Cortland, talking with students. We have a bunch of college campuses across this district. I'm here in Ithaca. Cornell and Ithaca College are a stone's throw away. And the main issue I've been hearing about from college students is a real concern about the future of our democracy and the future of basic constitutional rights. Because remember, the Dobbs decision, it dealt with women's equality, and it dealt with women's reproductive freedom. And it was a horrific decision in the sense that it ripped all of that away. What's even more terrifying about it is that it laid the groundwork to dismantle the entire civil rights movement. Marriage equality, a Supreme Court case that was decided not that long ago, that's now potentially on the chopping block. I was just this morning at a meeting with an organization that does incredible work in our disability community. And they're terrified that the Dobbs decision is now going to unravel major Supreme Court decisions that provided civil rights for people with disabilities. It's all at stake now. And so, it's an issue that I find a lot of people are concerned about, and it's especially something that's driving college students. And so, it's really, we are at a fundamental moment here with this election where we're either going to choose to stand up and fight back against these decisions that are ripping away people's rights, or we're going to, cower from that adversity. And I've been so encouraged to be on so many campuses and seeing students really engaged and energized to make their voices heard.
Great. Well, Mr. Riley, I would like to thank you so much for coming and speaking with me today and for
Yeah,
being able to talk to our students, like virtually, of course.
yeah.
And so, on that note, for the students that are watching this, please make sure to look at the other videos to see the other candidates. And don't forget to vote on November 8th. If you have any questions about voting or voter registration, please come to the Center for Civic Engagement in University Union 137. Again, I would like to thank you for coming and talking with us today, and
Yeah,
I'm so
thanks.
happy that we were able to take up
Yeah,
some
me
of your
too. I'd
time.
love to do it in person. And thanks so much for having me. Our website's joshrileyforcongress.com. If anybody wants to learn more, get in touch with the campaign, really, really appreciate your time.